Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. You know, the Internet of Things is going to give us a unique opportunity to see the world in different ways, to connect millions, billions of devices that are going to give us a view of our indoor and our outside world, allow us to collect vast amounts of information and to process that information to look for some really important nuggets. One aspect of the Internet of Things, the industrial Internet of Things that we focus on, is in thinking about how to better react to natural disasters. Why is that important? In the last year, in 2018, there were 14 events that caused over $1 billion worth of damage. Here in California, more acres burned in 2018 than burned in the prior decade. We've seen hurricanes and floods at an unprecedented rate over the last several years, and our customers, who are mainly utilities delivering critical infrastructure for electricity, gas, and water, are starting to think of natural disasters as a part of their normal business model, the new normal, that climate change and the interaction with the environment is going to change, and we have to use new technology to help us to cope with these massive disruptions that are potentially possible. Let me just spend a moment introducing you to Itron. Itron is a company that spent the last 10 years deploying over 200 million smart connected devices. We focused on the utility space and focused primarily on electric, gas, and water meters, but increasingly on other sensors. We're the leader in North America on deployed streetlights. We have 3 million connected streetlights. What's interesting about the streetlight business is building communication canopies over cities that then enable our partners to bring all kinds of new devices. These devices are all connected by powerful radio frequency mesh networks and integrating cellular technology to give us a level of coverage that was really not possible before. And this scalable standards-based network is what we're going to be talking about today, how we connect partner applications to that network in order to think about natural disasters and disruptions. So, as we've spent time talking to utilities, utilities are increasingly partnering with cities to talk about how they can work together to mitigate large-scale disruptions. And so this collaboration is frequently talked about as smart cities or smart communities, and one of the most important aspects of a smart community is resiliency. And this is something utilities actually know a lot about because they provide such a critical service in the form of delivering electricity, gas, and water, something that we take for granted, but is critically important to maintaining civil order and our society. And so when they partner with cities, it's incredibly important, this collaboration, and really thinking about how do we bounce back as quickly as possible from disruption. Ideally, what we'd like to do is be continuously collecting data and really develop the capability to be able to predict these sorts of problems, to be able to dispatch trucks out into the field to anticipate a problem, to put supplies in their proper places. In other words, to be able to react much more quickly. Very specifically, in the case of the utilities, the ability to restore critical energy and water, which are required for all other mitigation efforts. And then very importantly, to keep our citizens informed along the way so that they understand not only what's going on, but to help them to cope with the immediate problems that they have around them. And so when we kind of talk about how to create that resiliency, we think about these attributes of our ability to have situational awareness, to understand what's going on and to use that awareness to really develop this prediction capability. Because that predictive capability helps us to respond much more rapidly and then ultimately to recover. So I'd like to provide a few examples of how we're working with customers in these areas in order to implement these very important characteristics. In the area of prediction, we have a fair amount of partner technology deployed in the field to look at things like corrosion detection in pipes, voltage monitoring on distribution lines, which, by the way, can sense vegetation tapping the lines as an example. So an early predictor of what could possibly cause a fire in the future. We have motion sensors out there. So all kinds of different techniques that are used in order to try to predict failures that may occur in the future. One of the really interesting projects we're working on, we are deploying a broad network over Con Ed's territory. Consolidated Edison is the utility of New York. They serve 10 million people. It's a very challenging environment for deploying a network. The canyons of Manhattan and just the breadth of challenges. The project is going extremely well. And one of the things that Con Ed asked us to think about, in addition to deploying electricity and gas meters, is partnering with them on a problem they have, which you may have read about in the newspaper. They've had several really unfortunate explosions in their territory in which leaks in the gas system have resulted in catastrophic events. And so they put out the challenge to work with us on methane detection. How could they proactively sense whether or not a leak had occurred so they could intervene before a problem actually occurred? We partnered with a company, New Cosmos, in Osaka, Japan, who had this wonderful leak sensor capability and embedded our communications module in it so that it is able to share the same robust communication network that we're putting out over Con Ed's territory in order to sense methane leaks and alert not only the household, but to automatically dispatch personnel out to the house in order to cut the gas off before a problem occurs. So this is a powerful example about how we can actually detect a problem so quickly that we're able to predict that a failure is going to occur. In the area of response, we have many examples of ways that we're able to now understand where problems are occurring in the field and dispatch people more effectively. But I'm going to give you another New York example because you may have read about this one too. You often hear about aging infrastructure and the challenges that we have there. The New York subway system is, of course, over 100 years old now and is experiencing some significant problems. Ridership is up, that's great, but service levels have actually declined because of severe maintenance problems that the Metropolitan Transit Authority has had. When they analyzed what was causing problems, one of the things that they found was that there were power outages that were triggering problems. They actually went a little bit further than power outages. There are voltage fluctuations in the power system underground, and they feel if they were able to sense those, that they might be able to react more quickly. Well, let's look at that challenge for the Internet of Things for a second. Building a robust radio frequency network in the tunnels and vaults underneath New York, there's an interesting challenge. And we actually did that, which is a great thing, and have put voltage monitoring and electric meters that detect where the power is out underground that are able to alert the MTA and Con Ed much more quickly. It took Con Ed and then the MTA up to 1 hour to isolate where an outage, electric outage had occurred underground. Now, using this technology, they're able to understand exactly where the problem is within 5 minutes, which is actually starting to have a measurable impact and improvement upon subway service in New York, that they're able to get to that problem so much more quickly. So this is an example where this technology is helping to give, again, powerful situational awareness, but very specifically to be able to pinpoint where a problem exists and to get people to the problem more quickly. So moving on to recovery, one of the really big headlines you've been reading about are significant hurricanes. Going back to 2017, Hurricane Harvey, there were over 200 inches of rain in Houston. I mean, this was a significant impact in Texas. Our customer, CenterPoint Energy in Houston, lost a significant number of customers offline during the course of this hurricane. After they had restored service, there were two really powerful statistics they were able to share with us, in which they talked about the fact that the investments that they had made in smart technology changed the way that they were able to serve their customers and respond and recover much more quickly. And they saved over 45 million outage minutes. So 45 minutes 45 million minutes that customers would have been out were saved because they were able to respond and recover to the hurricane 25% faster than they had been before. And the reason is because they knew exactly where the problems are. We have things like pole tilt sensors. They're able to isolate exactly where outages have occurred, dispatch their crews more quickly, and resolve problems. Hurricane Irma hit Florida really hard. Our customer, Florida Power and Light, serves 4.5 million customers. 1 million of those customers were restored before the storm left their territory. So the utility knew of the outage, was able to isolate where it occurred, could proactively switch their distribution network in order to restore power or get a crew directly on site in a much more precise fashion because of having this distributed technology that's available. And then 2 million of their customers were restored within 24 hours. And this, by the way, was considered a record response in which Florida Power and Light's customers were very grateful about the response that the utility had. And that doesn't normally happen in a hurricane-type situation. So investments in smart infrastructure and working with partners are allowing us to really extend the capability of these networks to be able to sense disruptions in the system, in this case caused by natural disasters, and to be able to assimilate that information, react to it much more quickly, dispatch crews and repairs to very specific spots, and really improve outcomes dramatically. Instead of just talking about our customer examples, we thought that we would actually provide you with a demonstration here on stage. And so thinking about something that might be relevant, I'm actually a native San Franciscan, and so I've lived with earthquakes all my life. You're sitting in California in a place that is one of the seismically most active areas in the Pacific, and we managed to put out of our mind the fact that we're sitting in earthquake territory. So the question is, how can we use sensors and the data that we're collecting through these very powerful networks in order to understand what's going on when an earthquake hits and how to react and recover more quickly? So to talk about that, and I'm going to invite my colleague Marina Donovan up onto the stage, who's our Vice President in charge of global marketing, to help us demonstrate and talk about how we actually apply this technology in a situation relating to an earthquake. Please join me, Marina.
Good morning. This morning, we're going to show how different data streams from sensors connected to Itron's network can help cities and utilities better plan, respond, and mitigate impact. We, as Philip mentioned, we're going to simulate an earthquake. And we're going to start it with the meter over there. And Philip, can you tell us a little bit about the meter?
Sure. Actually, our meters have always contained an accelerometer, which was put in there in order to detect tampering in case somebody actually moved one of our meters. The advantage of developing on an open technology platform is we're able to make that accelerometer available to our partners, and they've become interested in using that as a way of detecting ground motion.
Okay, behind me you see a map of Santa Clara. This has been created in a synthetic intelligence environment, and it was created by our partner, Run With It Synthetics. Run With It Synthetics was founded by a woman and is led by a woman. RWI, for short, uses artificial intelligence to consider, design, and experience the future, including unpredictable events. On the map, just so, because this demo is going to go fast, so I just want to get everybody grounded on where things are. You're going to see there's the convention center there, Levi's, note the pedestrian trail, and Mission College. And they've actually built out the city with 42,000 people, and we're going to talk about those people. This person up here is modeling a synthetic person. You'll see it goes from male to female. And you'll see here all of the different applications we're going to be talking about throughout the demo. And then here we'll talk about the results. So how many people were evacuated safely, really key. We're going to simulate a 6.7 magnitude earthquake, which, by the way, was the same size as Northridge, and a lot of terrible things happened. In trying to restore electricity, it sparked and created arcs, and then it started fires, over 400 fires. So it's also a 9 on the Mercalli scale, so you'll see a 9 on the screen. And we're going to activate all of our applications, and at the end of the demo, we'll show the results of how many people safely evacuated. So in thinking about this earthquake, Philip, I just couldn't help but flash back to 1989, the Loma Prieta earthquake.
Oh my gosh, look at your audience. Half the people here weren't even born then, but okay, let's think about that one.
Okay, true, that's true. However, now people can get a sense of what it was like. And better it's 2019, and there's technology available out there to mitigate risk and save lives. And the meters and the sensors that we're also showing in these demos, these are out in the field today, they're real. And also you need to think of the meter can be the sensor as well. It's a whole new world. So are you ready, Philip?
Yes, I am.
Okay, go ahead and shake the meter.
Okay, here we go.
Everybody okay? All right. Okay, we now are seeing the residential neighborhood with the electric meters in yellow. You'll see a white square zooming around. That's checking and seeing how our synthetic people are doing and how they're feeling and reacting to the earthquake. Next, we see that the electric meters are sending a signal to the gas shutoff valves, and you can see those in pink. The gas is being shut off. Soon, you're going to see purple and red little diagrams. Here they come. And this is showing pole tilt. Philip talked about your pole is tilting, right? Your power lines are down, and that is what it's showing. We can see that there's a concentration near that pedestrian trail of power lines down and poles down. This is very real. These poles are going over 101, right? It's scary stuff. So what happens often in earthquakes, gas lines can break, and soon our methane sensors are going to begin to detect leaks. Let's see how we do here. In green, you see all of the different methane leaks that have been detected, and it'll be up to 240. Seeing a concentration right at Mission College. So when there's gas leaks, what happens? There's fire. The blue is indicating our air quality sensors, and they're detecting smoke and fire, and a lot of this will start taking place in Mission College. Our person is going to be looking very stressed. You see it go from green to yellow. And now we're zooming in. Here we are at the convention center. And in all these faint green dots, these are people. And we're all being given evacuation notices telling us, avoid Mission College, avoid that pedestrian trail. Philip, did you get your alert?
Yes, I did get my alert. Yeah.
Excellent. But flash back to 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake. I was at work, get in the car, gridlock. No one's going anywhere. And guess what? What was scary is back then there weren't as many people here. So things like this are really important. It can really mitigate a lot of issues. So soon we're going to see how the whole thing kind of wraps up. But I will tell you that thanks in part to the self-healing nature of our Wi-Sun-based network, even if part of the network is down, the signal can be rerouted to other access points so cities and utilities can have that visibility to see where they need to focus and respond first. Now it's the broader view of the area. It's been 15 minutes since the earthquake, and people have started to get to safe spaces. we can see that 87% of the people in this area have been evacuated. Run With It's technology is key in helping prepare for all kinds of disasters. They work with organizations today and do simulations for tens of millions of people. And in today's world, as Philip mentioned, it's more important than ever that we're prepared. Just look at the fires in Paradise, California, the last few months. I mean, they had a very sound evacuation plan. Yet, according to a USA Today survey, only 22% of California communities have a robust, publicly available evacuation plan. The good news is, with tools like these, cities and utilities can run and model these different scenarios and design and trial it, and hopefully be prepared for the unpredictable, mitigate that risk, and ultimately save lives. So that concludes our quick demo and gives you a small glimpse of the role that sensors and this great technology from Run With It can provide, and it all helps to improve disaster response.
Thank you, Marina.
Philip.
So IoT technology can have an incredible impact in this critical infrastructure world of helping us to improve outcomes, improve customer service, improve safety, sustainability of our communities, all in a very economic way. Itron has deployed networks over 2.5 million square miles of North America. It's a standards-based, secure, reliable network, and we are absolutely committed to working with partners in order to bring your devices inside of this network so that we can coordinate this kind of very significant response. To the partners out in the audience, we would very much welcome you to stop by our booth to figure out how it is that we can work together. And to those of you who are looking for solutions to build more resilient communities, to strengthen utility infrastructure for delivering our critical commodities of electricity, gas, and water, we also welcome you. Thank you so much, and everybody have a wonderful show. Thanks.